Hello lovers, welcome to the Butterfly Effect podcast hosted by myself, Lauren Amy. This is for those who are ready to take up space, who are living a soft life loudly and are ready to savor the sweetness in each moment. Here we're going to embrace transformation, the beauty of the in-between and the magic of becoming. So pull up a seat and listen in because life is delicious and it's about goddamn time we eat it up. Hello stunners. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the Butterfly Effect podcast. How are we all doing? I'm not gonna lie. I just started recording an episode and I think I got about 8 minutes in and it was just really landing home. I was just like, something doesn't feel right about this. Something doesn't feel right. Do I want to push through and continue, or should I just take a moment, take a little step back, rethink, start again? And that is what's happened. I kind of am upset that I've potentially lost 8 minutes of footage, which is probably okay. I'm probably overthinking things, but we're just rolling with things at the moment. We are in August. We are in our revival season. Dun 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 dun. And I really don't want this episode to be performative or I don't know, I'm just really trying to approach things with a real nice, calm, steady approach. I had a big shake-up over the weekend, which was so needed. I spent the weekend in Brighton at Brighton Pride, and I've never been to any Pride events before, and it was so fun. You know what I was really just appreciating? Everyone's outfits. I love the creativity and the personalities that come out, that come alive at a Pride event, and it was so beautiful to be a part of that and just be surrounded by lovely people, music, and just have fun. And I realised as I was driving back up from Brighton on the Sunday, I was like, wow, I haven't thought about what's been going on, the chaos that has been unfolding behind the scenes all weekend, You know that classic thing when you're heading back home off holiday, you're thinking about your Monday and your week ahead, and you're starting to, make a plan in your mind of all the things you've got to do. And it got to that point, I was like, oh yeah, this is happening. I'm arriving into my revival. I'm arriving into this new month. I'm arriving into this season of change. Okay, let's go. But let's take our time with it. Let's not rush. Let's ease ourselves in gently. And I guess it's the same with this podcast. I'm easing myself in gently. So I want this to be a nice calm episode. I don't know what it is you're doing right now, whether you're getting ready for your day, you're driving to work, you're driving home from work, I don't know, maybe on a nice little dog walk. Cute. I love that for you. And I hope this is bringing the calm vibe that you need today. All right, we're reminding ourselves that we don't need to do anything in a rush and we don't need to do everything all at once. So to kickstart the revival season, I put out an email beginning of this week inviting people to have their say. If you don't know, if you've been under a rock recently, I have been forced out of one of my venues, my home, for my yoga classes, and I've had to find a new one. Fortunately, I have found a new one, and I'm very, very excited to share where this new venue is. And I have had the confirmation that I am able to share, that I've been given the go-ahead, that it's okay for me to share. But I thought, you know what? Let's hold back just another week, and let's ask the people. Let's put it to the community what they want to see, what they want to practice. And I guess it is a good exercise. I haven't asked for this much feedback in this much depth, maybe even ever, I don't know. I've never been this open to feedback in the past, and I have had a little look through this survey that I put out, and I've had some gorgeous responses that have been, on one side, so validating. I obviously put the typical questions why do you come to these classes in particular? What is it that brings you back time and time again? And lots of people have said the community, the vibe, and lots of people have referenced myself in particular and said my vibe, what I bring to the sessions. And that's incredibly validating, the fact that I get to be just me on the mat and it works, because if it were to be the other way around, wow, I'd probably have to quit. But fortunately, We like the vibe. And that means everything, because the vibe, the atmosphere, the experience, that is what matters. The yoga itself, yeah, that's obviously a part of it, but the experience is what I'm, I guess, more focused on, but I don't want to be blindsided. I do want to know what people actually want to practice, whether it's myofascial release, whether it's nervous system regulation, whether it's more meditations, more mindfulness, more breath work, and all these suggestions have come through. And it's fascinating, but it has given me a lot to think about. And I think what I'm also trying to remind myself is that I'm just one person. I'm just one person teaching and leading the community as best I can. And that means I can't do everything. I will not be able to do everything. I won't be able to offer every single class, because also at the same time, I have to remember that the changes, whatever they might be, whatever it is that I implement, I have to make sure that it serves me as well. I have to make sure that I'm not going to run myself into the ground and teach things that I don't typically enjoy, but it's just kind of ticking something off a list, because that's inauthentic. And again, you guys know that everything I do comes from this place of authenticity. I'm not here to perform. I'm not here to pretend, nor am I encouraging you to perform or you to pretend. I'm inviting you to step out of whatever has been kind of hoarding your attention and turn it towards something that serves you. Yoga, breath, community, spaciousness, joy, light, whatever that might be. That is my intention. So whenever I'm implementing these changes, I'm giving myself permission to take my time with it. The big change is happening very, very soon. That will be the change of venue. That will be the catalyst for soft little changes to happen throughout the next few weeks, months, maybe even towards the end of the year. And it is exciting. And yeah, there's still part of me that is worried for the collective. And actually, there's individuals that I think of as well, and how they might feel with these changes that are coming up. There's a fair few people that come to classes at Verve, the venue that I'm unfortunately having to leave. And I'm thinking, oh God, I know that particular person really values that practice at that particular time, and I know the location is good for her. It means that she can squeeze a practice in her lunch break, so on and so forth. And yeah, these people have been with me for so long that I am worried for them. And I'm really, really hoping that the changes, they still work for them. And maybe they open up more space for others, It's a real in-between moment where I don't know how this is going to be received. I don't know how it's going to go. But I'm really having to trust the process and just go with the flow, surrender to the flow. The more I try and grip and cling onto what I have done for so long, the more rigid that becomes, and the more nothing changes, nothing evolves. So I'm loosening my grip little by little, bit by bit, and just hoping that things unfold better than I could have ever hoped. You know what I mean? So we're continuing on with this revival, slow and steadily. And maybe you are also navigating your own inner revival. Maybe you are also moving through a season of change, and maybe you find yourselves a little bit in the in-between. In the in-between can be beautiful, but I think we don't often see it as beautiful until we're out of the in-between, until we've moved past it, we've moved through it. So if you're with me here in this sticky, confusing in-between time, I see you, I feel you, and trust. Trust in the process, and trust in yourselves. Trust in yourself that you will figure things out. I know I spoke about that a lot recently, but it's just something that we're going to keep coming back to time and time again. And I guess if you are one of my yogis and you perhaps didn't receive the email at the beginning of the week with the revival survey in, please do let me know, because if you can spare 5 minutes just to help me help you. And actually, when I think about it, that's wild. I'm having a full circle moment, actually. When I first started this business, or perhaps just before I did, I reached out to a local yoga teacher and I said, hey, I want to do this. And I would love to hear from you. I would love to pick your brain. I would love to gather some advice, what you have to say. And this kind, beautiful soul invited me for coffee. And God, a little baby me, naive, insecure me, met this woman for this coffee. And one of the phrases that she said, help me help you. That is what you want to kind of put forwards to your community. And of course, at this point, I had no community. So I guess what I was saying in my advertising was, help me build this. Help me make something happen that's going to serve the collective. And I guess in this revival survey, we're going back to that. Help me build this. Help me help you. Wow, what a beautiful full circle moment. That's literally just dropped back into my brain at that moment. But that's exactly what's happening. We're building this together. Whether you are an in-person yogi, an online yogi, whether you just listen to the podcast or you just see a few things that unfold online, this is your space to have your say. And like I've said before, this is the most open I have been to feedback ever before. When I first started the business, yes, I spoke to this gorgeous yoga teacher who gave me a few pointers, helped me out a little bit. But for the most part, I was thinking, okay, maybe I do this, maybe I do that, maybe I do all the things. And then you start to realize, no, hang on, you can't do everything. And whatever it is that you do, it has to serve you as well. It has to feel aligned to you as well. Authenticity is paramount. But what's also needed sometimes is that little bit of external feedback. Is a little suggestion here and there, maybe to shift my mindset, think in a different way, see things in a different way. I guess what I'm trying to do here is to keep this steady momentum, this little bit of fire in my belly, this little bit of oomph to make things happen, but at the same time not spread myself too thin, not burn myself out by trying to do all the things all at once. And actually, when I was in the depths of announcing this change, when I first announced that what's happened with Verve, our gorgeous studio, I had one yogi message me, and she told me about the phrase liminal space. And I've heard this before, but I've never had it, I guess projected onto me, or I've never realized within myself that I am in this liminal space. And the way in which she described it was, it describes a time of in-between, which can feel horrible, but if we are willing, can be one of the biggest places of growth. So I'm praying your liminal space brings more than you could have ever imagined. You got this. And I thought that was so beautiful. And I think what another beautiful thing about this survey, this revival that we're all moving through together, I do my absolute best to encourage you, to inspire you, to uplift you, to energize you, to motivate you. That's why everything I do it's why I do it. That is my why. That is why this podcast has come to be. So I can, I can dive into your thoughts beyond the yoga space. You know what I mean? And I think what's happened throughout these past few weeks is that there's been a role reversal. And you guys have been uplifting me, you have been energizing me, you have been motivating me, you have been inspiring me. And that's beautiful. And I guess that's why I wanted to call this a revival. When I first said, help me, help you, about 7-8 years ago, I knew nothing, essentially. I had no community. And I was figuring it out, building the foundations from the ground up. Again, I'm asking the question, help me help you. But this time, the foundations have been laid. And we're just now further building upon that foundation. And I think the feedback that I've heard from the community so far is actually just reminding me how strong those foundations are. There have been moments where they felt somewhat shaky, but they are strong. They are firmly rooted. They are firmly planted. No matter how uncertain, shaky, and turbulent things might have seemed, or how I might have felt within myself, those foundations are strong. So thank you for helping me help you. And I'm really hoping this continues to unfold in the beautiful way that I imagine. And like I said, maybe you're also in this liminal space. And this yogi also sent me a blog post on liminal space, and it's a fascinating read. I'll see if I can put it in the show notes, in the episode description. But you know those moments where you feel kind of lost and you don't know the next step or the way through, there's no way of predicting, that just general feeling lost. And this blog post says it's often what happens when you're in that liminal space, that in-between zone where you're no longer who or where you were, but not yet who or where you're becoming. It's an empty stretch full of uncertainty and the unknown, which makes it deeply uncomfortable, and not to mention, easy to want to avoid. And if I'm really honest with myself, I think I've avoided this liminal space for quite some time. Walking through liminal space can feel like you're moving through a pitch dark room. You can't see what's ahead and you're not quite sure where you are, often leaving you hesitant and searching for something solid to land on. And this is what I mean. We have the foundations to land on, to build from. So yes, it's this liminal space, but we're not starting completely from scratch. We're using what we have built already and progressing from there, evolving from there, learning from there. Another way it's referenced is a threshold state, a pause, a transition, a space that can feel uncertain, uncomfortable, and even disorientating. It tends to show up during big shifts, ending a relationship, changing careers, outgrowing an identity, healing from a former version of yourself. It's the space between the old story and the new one. It rarely comes with a roadmap and often comes with a feeling of lost. Interesting. Maybe I have moved through a liminal space before. Liminal space is deeply uncomfortable for many, so much so that people often make choices or take action not because it feels aligned, but simply to escape the discomfort. Anything to get out of the vast unknown and move on, even if it's not quite right. Yeah. I'm sure we're all guilty of avoiding a decision or avoiding making a change because we don't want to dive into that discomfort. So let me tell you, I'm feeling very uncomfortable. I'm feeling very uncertain, very uncomfortable, but at the same time, there's a grounded calm to it as well. I've really made my peace with the fact that I've had to lose this space, that I've been somewhat kicked out of this space. I've been forced out of this space, and I'm actually ready to be in the new space. I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready for the next thing, even knowing I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out or how it's going to unfold. I guess I'm at this point where I'm choosing intentionally. I'm building from alignment. I know myself more now. I know the community far more now. I know what it is that I'm good at. I know what it is that I'm passionate about. So I'm using this knowledge, this felt sense experience, and this trust to guide me through this liminal space and to guide you all through it in a way that feels aligned for you, in a way that makes sense to you. And funnily enough, I've just scrolled a little bit further down this vlog and it says, how to move through it. The key is to stop forcing clarity and start practicing trust. Let go of the need to fix or fast forward. Instead, feel, listen, wait. The space asks you to slow down, to stay present, and to let the lessons rise on their own timing, which I feel is exactly as I've been saying. So again, thank you to that yogi that has sent this through, because I think I have fully accepted this liminal space now. I've fully accepted and embraced this change, and I'm moving through it the only way I know how. One steady step at a time, one breath at a time, trusting in my ability to make the decisions and figure it out step by step. Not to say that I'm going to change or go back on those decisions or make further changes along the way, just going with the flow, surrendering to the process, and seeing what happens when we just take a chance. No one ever has it all figured out. I certainly do not, and I will never pretend to. Nor do you have to pretend to either. So if you're finding yourself in your own liminal space, perhaps it's time for your own inner revival. And I guess remind yourself that if you are in that liminal space, you're not completely starting over. I don't think we ever really are, because it's not like we can wipe away our past memories, our past experiences, they make and shape our current and future decisions. So I don't believe we're ever really starting from scratch, because you can use your own past experience, your own intuition, your own felt sense knowledge to, like I said, shape the way in which you move through, you move on. So we're not starting again. We're evolving, baby. And I'm excited. So next week I will be fully announcing the new venue, and I will be properly gathering the survey feedback and formulating it into a way in which that makes sense for you, and seeing what small changes I can make over time, and we'll take it from there. So again, take a moment, take a breath. Your liminal space does not require any performance or pretending. It requires a surrendering unlike any other. Meet me there in the in-between, and we'll create some magic together. Help me, help you, and let's just see what we can do. Oof, she's rhyming again. I'm going to wrap this up there, honeys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for helping me shape and build whatever this ends up becoming, but it's going to be good. I can feel it. I love you. Go thrive, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah. Alright, stunners, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. I hope it has left you feeling suitably inspired. And as always, please don't forget to rate and review, like and subscribe, all those lovely things, as not only does this help the podcast grow, but it also helps us to reach more beautiful souls who need to hear these conversations. And of course, come hang out with me over on Instagram and TikTok at LaurenAmyYD, and follow the pod at butterflyeffect.pod. You can also dive deeper into yoga, meditations, poetry, and so much more with me over on Patreon. Until next time, keep living a soft life loudly, because you know you deserve it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Mwah!